What if I told you that there was another super secret effort to port another Nintendo game to something that was maybe a little more or possibly a little less sophisticated, something you could hold in your hand? And this isn't the first time that this has been done, and it's not even the first time that this same person seems to be doing it. Don't know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about Super Mario 64 in the surprising place where you may get to play it only on That Game Place. Hi folks, it is me and the glorious, the thunderous Nolan Thunder. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing excellent. I felt like backstabbing Nintendo today, so I'm wearing the PlayStation hat.
Well, I tell you what, good on you. But it's interesting because you wouldn't think that somebody would be able to move games around from platform to platform, let alone, from a console to a handheld. And so I don't step on your thunder, my friend. I will, drop the story for our audience to view. Here we go. Tell us all about it, Nolan.
Okay, so this is really cool. So this dude named Joshua Berrito, I hope I'm saying your name right, dude. He has taken on a very ambitious project. He is trying to port Super Mario 64, a very famous game amongst Nintendo fans. It revolutionized made 3D gaming like fun. It was such an upgrade from what we were used to. It might not have been the first one, but it was one of the first ones that did it, and it was like, wow. So this guy, he might be a madman because he decided, hey, let's take that and put it on an underpowered Game Boy Advance from over 20 years ago, and let's see and make this not look like a pixelated mess. And as you can see here in this little video here, it's actually looking pretty good.
Yeah, I would say that's really impressive for something that was certainly very underpowered. And he's completely rebuilding the game. Now, this article is coming to us from a rival games urinalist location, but the story's actually worth covering. So as we scroll down, I will read. A fan developer is doing something that seems impossible, porting Super Mario 64 to the Game Boy Advanced. And so far, their progress is impressive, just as Nolan said. Originally, the game was built out and released in 1996 for the Nintendo 64, one of the best consoles of that generation, if not the best, in my opinion.
I love you, N64.
That's right. It's not the first 3D game ever developed, but it was popularized and has many features and mechanics that obviously are used everywhere. And as made mention today by our friend, let's try that again. And as made mention recently by the great and powerful Jonas J. Campbell, this is something that, basically was the groundbreaker for the way 3D games are viewed today and the way levels are designed, as a matter of fact. So, as spotted by Nintendo Life developer, modder Joshua Berrito, I think, is rebuilding Super Mario 64 for the Game Boy Advanced, which is crackers. I love these screens. The Game Boy Advance color screens were great. This was the perfect thing to take on a plane unless you had a PSP. And initially, Berrito wanted to port the whole game to the GBA, but that didn't seem feasible for a number of reasons. So instead, he's basically rewriting the game from scratch. And if you watch the video that's attached here in the article, which there will be a link to down below, you can absolutely see just how much has changed. So I'd say that's pretty impressive. But going all the way back to do that, that's crazy. Nolan, how much time do you think and how much effort do you think he put into this?
A lot of time. This has to be like his main thing, because I researched into him a little bit. It seems like he's pretty well versed in coding, much better than I could even ever dream of. I not a coder, but I do know a good game when I see it, and this looks so cool. I know something I don't know if the article mentions or not. A dude by the name of Pack64 helped supply some textures for him to help make this look a little bit more pretty. Because if you go back to like the OG first video he did, it literally just looked like Pong, like it was a pixel going across the screen, and then it gradually made its way better. Mario then looked like a gray T-posing statue. He looked like a religious figure walking around. And then now it's just slowly growing and growing to like that game I wish I could play on a Game Boy Advance when I was a little kid. And it's impressive too, because apparently he's been using like I guess the DS version's meshes and stuff like that. And
Wow.
it's impressive. He's really literally pushing the GBA like to its limits. Like he's trying to maintain like a 25 to 30 frame rate or somewhere between 20 and 30 and to where it looks feasible. And not to get too tech talk with that, because believe it or not, I don't fully understand that either. But what I do know is that the GBA compared to the 64 is like a potato, and this guy made the best potato possible.
This is amazing because according to this, it says, according to Berrito, this custom built version of Super Mario 64 will be playable on a real Game Boy Advanced. In fact, there is already video of that being done, somebody toying around with it in an early build of Berrito's work. So that's already pretty cool. I'm stoked. If this actually shows up, I will have to dig out the Game Boy Advance, the GBA, and maybe try to put it on there. But eventually, this homebrew port of his, the plan is to release it, a scratch-built port online, though it will lack any official Nintendo assets to avoid the publisher's active lawyers. Yeah, if you've noticed exactly what they do to people that do that,
it goes bad. It goes so bad. And you were just talking about the hype you have for this, dude. I'm excited for when the video game conventions start rolling around again. Like Too Many Games was this past weekend, but when I can make my way to my next video game convention, I don't know if you've ever seen, but sometimes you see like some mods. I got like Sonic.exe on Sega Genesis. Someone had a bunch of different Sonic mods they were selling.
Wow.
It would blow my mind if I saw Mario 64 on a Game Boy Advance cart at a convention. Like Mario 64 is actually my favorite game out of all games ever. And to see this on GBA and that being such a pivotal part of my childhood, it would blow my mind. And I want to see like a madman take like this game on a GBA cart, put it in a Game Boy player, and then put the uglier version on the TV just to mess with people. I think that'd be hilarious.
Just to see how it looks. Yeah, I have to tell you though, I'm pretty excited, and now I'm inspired to go back in time. I'm going to dig out my Nintendo 64 and pull it out and play this game. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Memories of the game and just how hard it was initially really was great. Now it won't seem like very much, but for a platformer from this point in time, truly amazing. And I think you're right. When you start to see more and more of these games, you're going to see more and more people try to do this. And man, when you go to gaming conventions, maybe you're going to see something magic, like you said. Well, Nolan,
the story of Nintendo is they live up to the memories. Like unlike a lot of things, you go back and they don't age. Some age like milk. Nintendo ages like wine if you have the right imagination with it. I think it's wonderful.
I think it is too. And I have to say, and I'll let you have the final word here after I ask you this final question. Any chance you're going to try and play this on a GBA?
Oh, yeah, totally. My past GBA kind of broke in my hands. I got to use one like an Advanced SP, like the backlit screen one, the really great one, the AGS 101. I got one of those, and it disintegrated and died in my hands pretty closely after my DS hit the concrete floor. So you should probably keep handhelds away from me at all costs, but I'll find a way to play this. I'll try to keep them safe this time. And my last question I want to give to you, if you don't mind, one extra question.
Yeah.
If Mario looks like this and they manage to maintain his cuteness, what are they going to do with the absolutely horrifying N64 Bowser model when they finally get him into this game? Because
I don't know. I think that could still be. Think that would still be a little bit rough. And on this screen at this frame rate, which we were looking at running at about 12 to 14 frames per second, I think it would be even worse. I think you're going to have some hard times in certain timing events on this, but I still think it'll be a great time. So
it'll be exciting to see what he does.
Me too. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this one up and ask our audience, hey, folks, what do you think about this idea that you're going to take one technology and port it over to another one that is definitely not equipped for it? I think that's a brave and bold step forward. But do you think it's worth your time, or do you think you'll probably skip it and only nerds like us are going to want to play it? Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments section below. It really does help. And you know what? Notice that the more you watch, the faster we get to being able to do live streams with everybody, and boy, are we looking forward to that. On that note, as always, game on.